mean, if you think about it, like your mind automatically rattles off all of these fears in great detail. So why can't we rattle off what if affirmations about the things we actually want? Why are we not allowed to do that? Of course you're allowed to do that. So you can do this easily, effortlessly. Give yourself the chance to experiment with this. Just play around with it. You can pretty much say anything in the form of what if, because nothing feels out of reach, because you're just suggesting it as a hypothetical. And that's what is so beautiful about what if statements, is because it's just a mere suggestion. So your ego will not fight it. Like, you won't feel that chaos within you. I know whenever I used to say different kinds of affirmations, it would feel like I had to use all the strength in the world to try to convince myself that this was true. And if I just kept saying it, kept saying it, kept saying it, it just would be like this battle inside of me. Like I would have to gain all this strength to try to make it feel real when it just didn't feel real. But I never felt that way with what if affirmations. And I do like affirmations, don't get me wrong. They have a very good use. The thing is they're not the only technique that you should be doing. The biggest technique that brings about the greatest amount of change is mindfulness, is sort of understanding what is happening in your mind and heart, the things that you're saying to yourself, unraveling all of this. So when you practice mindfulness, you are sort of taking a really good look at what is happening inside of you. And when you do this, try not to be afraid. Try not to be like, oh, wow, I wasn't supposed to think that. I wasn't supposed to say that. I'm a bad person because I have these limiting beliefs or these negative thoughts, or why am I doing this? No, you're just recognizing it. Because the second you recognize these things, you make them less scary. You no longer give them power. Because if it's something that you're trying to avoid in your mind and you say, well, I can't think that, otherwise I will not manifest what I want, then it's like you're giving this idea so much power and you're trying to avoid thinking about it. And it sort of becomes this thing that you're supposed to avoid thinking of, and yet you end up thinking about it too much and then trying to keep yourself from thinking about it, and it doesn't really work. But if you can just take an honest look and be like, wow, I'm going to understand my thought process. I'm going to try to, take an honest look at what is going on inside of me in a very non-judgmental way. I'm just going to observe this. Then you can kind of take the scariness out of it, because you're no longer labeling it as bad. And then it's just kind of like this limiting belief that doesn't have to exist for you anymore. So it's not something you're trying to fight and get rid of or avoid. It's just an idea that you recognize really just doesn't serve you, and you take away its power when you recognize it. That's why practicing mindfulness is so powerful, so potent, so important, because you're just understanding what's going on and noticing it. And once you notice it, it's like, it's no longer a scary monster that you're trying to avoid, but rather it's just an idea that doesn't have to be true for you anymore. You will know if you are doing a technique properly, or if you are manifesting properly. I know everyone wants to know this. They want to know that they are doing the process right. You know in your feelings, because we manifest things through feelings. We become in alignment with the experiences we want through feelings. So it's all about generating feelings. Ask yourself, do I feel at one with the kind of life I want? Not necessarily the specific thing you're trying to manifest, because it's kind of all encompassing. Yes, maybe you have this one big goal, this one specific thing you want, this one area of your life that you truly, truly want to make better. But these limiting ideas about whatever this area is that you're trying to manifest do trickle into other areas of your life too. So this is why we want to kind of connect to this idea of you living your best life ever. And you living your best life ever is a feeling that is universal. So it's this feeling of true contentment, true gratitude, true being in love with life. You can try to identify with this feeling by remembering maybe an amazing day you had where everything went right. Think about one of your happiest memories. And like everything went right, you got lucky on things you weren't even expecting to have happen, just miracles all around you. It could be the opposite of maybe a really bad day you had. I'm sure everyone can identify with this, everything went wrong. Well, what if everything could go right? That's the kind of feeling we are trying to connect with. So that is you living your best life ever. That feeling of everything going right, down to the exact specification, down to things you didn't even know you needed to go right. So everything is just going right. It's just flowing. It's just wonderful. And this is the feeling of it's working. And the great thing about this feeling is that when you know it's working and you feel on top of the world, you feel in love with life, you feel an unconditional love for yourself and a gratitude that you didn't feel before, you're not going to say, well, where is it? With whatever the specific desire is you're trying to manifest. You're not going to be like, well, I feel this wonderful way, where is it now? Instead, you're going to just feel this wonderful way, and it's going to almost feel like you don't even need it. Even though you still want it, it's going to feel almost like you already possess the thing you seek, because the feeling will be so intense. So we're trying to connect with this feeling of abundance, living your life, your best life ever. And this is that flowy state of beauty. Everything is going right. I love myself. I love the experience of life. I love even the mundane things. I just love everything because life is just so beautiful to be living this wonderful earth. It's just all so magical and lovely. And yes, I want these specific things, but I am just so in love with the experience of life that whenever it happens, it happens. And that's when it happens fast. So this is how you will know it's working, by how you feel. Now, I know that certain desires you can feel very desperate for. They can feel very urgent. And this is where what if statements really come into play again, because that's going to immediately calm you down, immediately soothe you. And it is fine to use comforting self-talk. It is totally fine to say it's going to be okay. It is totally fine to admit that you don't know how it's going to be okay, but that a way does exist for this problem to cease in your life. You'll know if things are working by how you feel, and you can get yourself to that better feeling place through this use of comfort. If you're feeling at all comforted, then you know you are taking a step in the right direction. What if life got so good, blew me away in every single possible way, and all of my problems got resolved, and there was magic and miracles around every single corner, and the people in my life were kind and supportive and giving, and just good things started happening to me right and left. What if I could live every single day, wake up in the morning with a sense of adventure and goodness and excitement and anticipation for the day ahead? What if I could be so excited about life and what it was going to bring to me that I lived every single moment in the purest form of gratitude, and I learned to appreciate myself and the love of life in a way that I never could before? Enroll in my free 10-day Manifesting Miracles course, studywithveronica.com, personal mentorship there as well. Subscribe for all the tips, tricks, and hacks you need to live your best life ever. And I'm wishing you all the miracles in the world. You deserve it.